What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition players, and we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. Now today we get to be angry dwarves, and we get to run around in spiky armor and throw ourselves into the battle. And so if you love that image as much as I do, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, most people have actually not subscribed to the channel, and so go ahead. It's free, it's easy, takes half a second, and then of course you will be notified of my future uploads. Just go ahead and click that bell and switch it to all. For some reason YouTube just decided that you clicking subscribe wasn't enough, so go ahead and change that to all as well, and that will be great. So also, leave me a comment down below. It helps us beat the algorithm. And I want to know what unique or standout feature you would have on the craziest set of armor that you can come up with. Let me know down below. So the Battlerager, otherwise known as the Axe Idiot, which I think is the best name for a subclass, are a group of dwarves that are really good at building this spiky armor and running into battle and basically using their bodies as the weapon, which is really great, just for flavor, for the visual, for all of those things. I think it's absolutely fantastic. However, it presents an interesting problem, at least rules as written, which was what we're going for, in that we are restricted to only being a dwarf. Now, there was only one other subclass introduced in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide with such a race restriction, which was the Bladesinger Wizard, which was then later reprinted to not have this restriction. So why didn't they do it with this one? I don't know. They never did it again. So yeah, as far as we're concerned, this restriction is still there. And so we're going to start off on a real bad note of a 2 out of 10. Now, I do want to say that dwarves are not a bad race at all, especially for barbarians. They're actually quite good. In fact, the mountain dwarf actually gets a +2 to strength and constitution. So they make great, really great barbarians for that. However, putting a race restriction on anything is taking away choice from any of your players, and I hate that. I think the taking away of choice is a really bad thing, especially with something as important as race. I don't like that. So yeah, 2 out of 10, I could not go any higher. It would be a 1 if dwarves were bad at being barbarians. So we're off to a rough start. So let's see if level 3 is any kinder. And so level 3 is when we actually gain the armor itself, which is pretty cool. And so we get the Battlerager armor, and it gives us a number of benefits. So the first is obviously using the armor, and it gives us a bonus action attack, which is a D4. The tough thing about this is that you could take literally any other subclass and get another feature and just take Polearm Master as a feat, and you have the ability to take any race you want. Custom lineage, variant human, whatever you want. You can take anything. So that's tough, right? I don't think that that's really worth it. You could just take anything else and use a feat to get this exact feature, which makes it not that great. The other benefit you get is that you deal 3 damage whenever you use your attack to grapple a creature, and you succeed. Now, most of the time you're going to be succeeding on your grapple checks because your strength's going to be great and you're going to have advantage because of rage. However, this damage only happens when you initially do the rage, because it specifically says when you use your action to grapple a creature. So it's not you do extra damage when they try to escape. It's not at the start of your turn. If you're still grappling them, you do damage. No, it's just 3 damage. So then if they escape, you have to re-grapple them, and then you're good. You know, you could release them and then re-grapple them, since it takes no action to release them. But like, what's the point? You know, like, what's the point of that? I don't think that that's very necessary. And then every time you do that, you risk rolling really bad, and then they just run away. And so I think this is just really bad. This is a 3 out of 10 for me. I think that just all of these mechanics are working against you, and you have so many better options of taking any other subclass and then just taking a feat of Polearm Master and carrying a polearm, and you're good. And you get more benefits from Polearm Master than what you get from this. So yeah, 3 out of 10. So 6th level, we get Reckless Abandon, and this is actually one of our better features in this class, which is good. And basically, whenever we use our Reckless Attack feature, we gain temporary HP equal to our Constitution modifier. Now, this is maxed out, obviously, at 5 until we get to level 20, where it could be 7 if we had it maxed out at that point, just because of our Capstone ability. But this is pretty sad amount of temporary HP. Now, it does replenish every turn, which is useful. Just keep in mind, temporary HP does not stack, so you're not going to have 5, 10, 15, 20. It's not going to keep adding on. You will just have 5 every time you use it, and if you lost some, you'll go back up to 5. So, I don't know. I feel like 5 is not much, especially once you get in the teens of levels. You're going to be taking, 30, 40 damage at a time, depending on what kind of an attack. Not to mention anytime you get crit, because now you're being attacked with advantage from your Reckless Attack feature. So yeah, even you do have resistance to weapon damage, which is good. But ultimately, I don't think this is going to save your hide nearly as much as what you think. It will help, but it's not going to save you nearly as much as you think. I think this is 6 out of 10. I don't think this is a bad ability at all. But I think you are missing out on abilities of other subclasses, so I don't think I can go any higher. So at level 10, we get Battlerager Charge, and this allows us to use a dash action as a bonus action. Very simple, but also pretty good, right? For Barbarians, we're trying to get up in the faces of our opponents, and this is going to be a very effective way for us to be able to do that. However, first of all, this is overshadowed by things that the monk and the rogue can do, which is not normally what we do on this channel as far as looking at other classes and subclasses, at least within the subclass videos. But it is a little disappointing to only see the dash action. And we normally don't have a use of our bonus action after we rage, which is cool. And I don't feel like this is going to be fully effective until 15th level, where we could rage technically right before battle and we don't have to worry about making attack rolls and that sort of thing. So I just don't think it's fantastic. It's not bad. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It gains more effectiveness at level 15. But also at level 15, a lot of people have stopped playing by then, and so how often are you gonna even be able to see that ability? Yeah, it's just tough. It's just a little tough. But yeah, I think 7 is more than fair. I think it's actually a little high, but I think I'm gonna stick with it. So at level 14, we get Spiked Retribution, and so basically this allows us to deal some damage back to an attacker when we're hit with a melee attack within 5 feet of us. Problem is, this damage is only 3 damage again, and we're level 14. How much is that going to do? Even if somebody has extra attack, that's 6 damage per turn, which is still nothing. Even if it's a Hydra and makes 5 attacks on us, that's still 15 damage, which isn't a huge deal. Now, it is good that we don't have to use a reaction to do this. It is just automatic. However, I feel like this is something that should have came with our 3rd level ability. Why is it that just now people are getting poked when they try to hit us? This should have been part of level 3, and we should have gotten something completely different here at level 14. And so I don't think that this is worth it. I don't think this is a great thing for a capstone for us. I don't think this adds anything useful this late in the game. This should have been there all along. 2 out of 10. It's not worth it. So that is all for the Battlerager. And so I think you can kind of see where this one's going. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm being too harsh on this, but I really don't think that I am. Overall, this is getting a 3 out of 10. This whole subclass, I think it's bad. I think it's really bad. You have to pick a dwarf, which again, dwarves are not bad barbarians, but it takes away choice. And D&D is all about having choices, right? It's about being open world, being able to do whatever you want to do. Except now you can't do whatever you want to do in character creation, which is like the best part of this whole thing. So yeah, that takes away the most important aspect of this, in my opinion. Then the features. The features are nearly all underwhelming in one way or another. The 14th level ability should have been packed into the 3rd level ability because it doesn't really make sense for us to have to wait till level 14 for something that seems like it's just baked into the armor. Like, being able to dash later, cool. I understand that. As you're learning and getting more comfortable with the armor, then you're able to move quicker. I get that. That makes sense to me. But being able to poke people, it doesn't say that you're doing anything to make them poke you. It's just that it's poking people, right? And so it doesn't make sense for it to just then happen after you've learned to be super comfortable with running in it. I just think that those are out of place. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think the damage is enough to make a huge difference, even if it is without an action, even the 3 damage without an action. I really don't think that that's crazy useful. And plus, if you take damage from anything with reach or any kind of spells, anything ranged, then it does nothing. And so, you know, people are always trying to pick off the Barbarian at range. And so then, you know, you don't have any way of really getting back at them effectively. And so I just think it could be a whole lot better. So that is it. Now, I want to say Friday's video is going to be different than what we normally do. Instead of building something and talking about how bad this is, we're going to fix it. And that's going to be the whole point of Friday's video. So I'm actually going to be writing up a document that you guys will be able to download yourselves, look at, and critique. And we will try to fix this subclass. You know, I'm pretty sure a while back they put out, like, it was either a comic book or some kind of other book that depicted these guys as Battleragers, as this group of dwarves that are running into battle, throwing themselves at their enemies, and then like running around with people stuck to the front and back of them because they've just like impaled them. Like, I get none of that with how it is actually done in this iteration. And so we're gonna fix it and we're gonna make it way better. My goal is to get it in the 8 to 10 range, probably more like 8. Actually probably more like 7 to 9. 10 maybe a little much, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna do that. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Until then, I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope you stay safe out there. I know it's crazy, and I hope to see you all on Friday. Until then, bye-bye.